Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Biajilu Ugbo. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing.
I love your top.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous.
We're babbing after everybody has babbied their own. I decided to babby my own today. But tomorrow I'll be taking my daughter to the Akada Children's Book Festival. She's a published author, and she's going to be on the panel of one of the young authors. Presenting her book. I'll also be with the physical copies of the book for anyone who wants to
you brought for us in this place?
No, I've not brought. Yeah, I was waiting to do a lunch, but by the time I came back, money can't finish. So we're hustling now. Yes, I need to recoup before, but I'll do like a book lunch for her. Nice. And I'm really proud of her. She's just 14 years old, and it's showing me that, okay, we're trying. We're doing things right, small, you know.
Good,
but we're going to be there.
And talking about it, I'll be there as well.
Oh, nice.
You were there last time when I was there.
Yeah.
With your kids, so it's the same thing. The Akada Children's Book Festival. I'll be reading my book as well.
So Miriam actually wrote the foreword with Osiso's book. So Miriam's name is in front of the, you know, the author's people. Author's people.
Hi, Bintokwe.
I'm good. The only thing on my mind is how to sell houses. I needed to break the jinx of selling high. So I have houses in Magodo, in Ikeja GRA. They are luxury houses, not land. I need to break that. I've sold a few houses before, but like the past 3 months, I've been marketing. It's like people don't see it. Or you
houses,
have money
or not land now.
Buy house. Anyway.
Oh,
thank you.
The houses are built?
Yeah, built houses within Magodo GRA, Ikeja GRA, those kind of. That's my goal, to sell. Lord, this Friday.
I've done it for you.
Friday selling Friday.
Hi, Miriam.
Yeah, fine. I already spoke about Akada. I was going to say I'll be at Akada Book Festival tomorrow. See me there, and also Kosi will be there. So,
nice.
So come and buy books. Be buying books of Vultures, be buying Kosi Sauce Left Alone. Just come and support your
What's your plan for the weekend?
Well, today is my mom's 2 years. So I'm going to go to her gravesite today to see her. With this rain, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I plan to go see her today.
When it rains on a day like, it's like quite significant.
Well, I hope so. So I'm going to go see her. Then from there, we're going to her house. We're just making akara just for the neighborhood, nothing major, because my dad's also October 1st. He died October 1st, so we're going to combine it since so we'll probably do something on October 1st, but nothing today, just to reflect, stay home, and just rest the day. So 2 years gone. I miss my mom.
How time flies.
Yeah, time has flown. 2 years. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with The Nation. Tinubu woos Nigerians in US to invest back home. India suspends visa. Senate seeks justice for Mohbad. Former governors' firms, others lose choice land in Abuja. Mba floors Edeoga to retain seat in Enugu as governor. Shebu's office at Government House reallocated. 22 lawmakers move to impeach Ondo deputy governor. And bank raises 13 billion naira for subsidy paying palliatives. Okay, which story are we starting with?
So the FCT minister is at work, Hurricane Wike. They say many prominent Nigerians, some of them former ministers, ex-governors, non-serving senators, top politicians, and different categories of highly placed individuals leaked through advertorials in the paper as a result of their failure to develop their property or also for other contravention of relevant laws. Some of the names were mentioned: former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Dariye, former governor of Cross River State. You know, it affected a whole crop of people. Even Peter Obi, presidential candidate for LP as well, was affected by this. Some firms, we have Wema Bank, Diamond Properties Limited, amongst many others. And this is just really that they have either failed to develop the property since they got this land, or there are some laws that they have contravened. And we know that Hurricane Wike, he has said, you know, that he was coming to make sure that, you know, the master plan for Abuja was followed strictly.
Okay.
So the Infrastructure Bank said they will be providing finance to help alleviate the effects of the fuel subsidy removal. The bank has earmarked 13 billion for this purpose, and they'll be using the funds to develop transportation systems and road infrastructure. And a statement issued by the Federal Ministry of Finance said the acting managing director Nkiru Chime and an executive director, Mr. Andrew Nweke, were the ones that made the disclosure in Abuja yesterday when they visited the ministry. And additionally, the bank said they have concession with 8 states and has previously provided interventions in the provision of mass transit, road and rail construction in some parts of Nigeria, and said that since inception of the Infrastructure Bank, they have intervened in the provision of, you know, different mass transit roads, rails, construction, and they have like a concession with about 8 states. Yeah. For now.
Okay, the Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo yesterday announced free and compulsory education for public schools. He said the move was in line with his vision of an all-inclusive education. So I said that from the, we were speaking at the Premier Primary School yesterday in Obosi. He said from the early childhood care development education, that's ECCD, to the GSS, that's the junior secondary schools, was going to be free and compulsory for school-age children. He said henceforth no child within that educational range will be charged fees or any fees to acquire education. Children of school age will no longer be deprived of access to quality education. Core community schools will be upgraded to smart schools in line with their vision. So that's good news. I even thought the education was free across all the states. I didn't realize that some people were still paying.
No.
Primary is supposed to be free.
Yes, I thought so.
Primary school, yeah. I'm not sure secondary.
The Ondo State House of Assembly has said that they will be following the due process. They sent a letter to the Deputy Governor, Ayedatiwa, and they said 22 of the members are in support of impeaching the Deputy Governor based on the allegation that has been reached. However, the chairman of House Committee on Information, Olatunji Oshati, in a statement yesterday, clarified that this is not an impeachment move. This is an allegation being investigated, that they want to protect the sanctity of the current assembly, and they will not falter in their constitutional responsibility to their constituents. So they are going to investigate. They've sent a letter to the Deputy Governor. When the investigation is done, then they will follow through. If there is going to be impeachment, it's still an allegation, and that they would uphold the integrity or in the Ondo State House of Assembly. But the impeachment coming in after the governor is back, based on allegations that there were mismanagement, we're waiting to see how the investigations will go, and if probably it won't just be internal investigation, but there will be a neutral, unbiased investigation carried out by like maybe EFCC or ICPC, so that the people of the state know that it's not because the governor is now back that they are removing the deputy governor from being ambitious to become a governor in future.
The Punch. FG may pay 1.868 trillion fuel subsidy. Marketers forecast as 900 naira to the litre. Pathologists conclude autopsy on Mohbad's corpse. Police awaits results. I remain loyal. Forgive me, Shebu begs Obaseki. Court clashes. Relocates to Shagamu. Abiodun tells security heads. Consumers allege sabotage as grid collapses. Worsen outage. Academic record. Delay articles request. Tinubu tells U.S. court. And currency in circulation rises to 2.7 trillion, says CBN report. Okay, which story?
Edo State Deputy Governor Elisha Abbo is again, as this report says, has begged the governor Obaseki for forgiveness if there's any mistake he has made as a human being. He made this at his investiture as the Grand Patron of the Catholic Men Organization of Nigeria, Catholic Archdiocese of Benin City. You know, we've taken the story, so we know all the back and forth that's been going on. And so he's once again saying that he misses his governor, and he prays that God will touch the governor's hearts and all of their hearts, and that whoever it is that is in between them, you know, that God will touch their hearts, that God knows that he means well. He still says he's ever loyal to his governor. He made a vow before God, and he's still loyal to the governor. And whatever it is that he's done, he may have been a mistake, but not wicked. He is not a wicked person. And so I guess another cry or plea for forgiveness to the governor. It would be nice at this point to hear from the governor and just see him make some sort of gesture towards reconciliation. You know, It doesn't even have to be my buddy and my best friend now, but just for this back and forth.
Considering that he has been, Shaibu has been consistent in apologizing that this is, yes, ambitious about becoming the next governor, but it doesn't mean that I am against you, I'm not loyal to you.
Okay, let's take another story. The academic record, let me, how much time do we have now? Okay, we have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final
You
answer.
don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now. Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
I think it's only that can be wicked.
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
Such a fuge.
SUBTERFUGE.
So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually a mistake. Like it was sending it to someone, and it just mistakenly just went that.
Yeah.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Who has the story?
I have a major headline. So the federal government may be spending about 1.68 trillion as subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, from September to December this year. And this was an analysis data provided by all marketers in the sector. It said that the pump price of petrol right now should be between 890 to 900 naira per liter, based on the fall of the naira against the US dollar and the surge in price of crude in the international market. And petrol currently sells between, we know, about 598 naira to 617 per liter, depending on where you are purchasing from. But the government and the NNPCL have not officially admitted that subsidy on petrol has been reintroduced. So people are suspecting that with the current, price, by the time they buy it, that we shouldn't be paying about 500 and something to 617 naira per liter. That likely the president is subsidizing, and then this report is also showing a form of subsidy has been paid. So the report indicated the federal government paid 169.4 billion subsidy in August. And quoting a Federal Account Allocation Committee document, they are saying that the Nigerian liquefied natural gas paid 275 million US dollars as dividends to the NNPCL. And NNPCL, according to the report, used 220 million US dollars, which is about 169.4 billion, which the US rate, dollar rate was 770. And out of the 275 million US dollars, they used it to pay for the PMS subsidy in the review month. And there is no way the government can sustain the price of 600 and something petrol for us right now. That means subsidy is still being paid, which some of them said is a good thing, but then the government needs to come clean and tell us exactly what is happening. Have we reintroduced the payment of subsidy, and how can we make it better? I said in other parts of the other states, other countries are already buying 1.5 1,500, 1,200 per liter. We are supposed to be paying for fuel now at about 900 per liter based on the current price reality. Yeah.
Okay.
If I say they should float it totally, we will feel the pain.
Float what?
If we say they should pay it, we are feeding the corruption.
Okay, the Lagos State Police Command on Thursday exhumed the remains of Mohbad, the young man Ilerioluwa Aloba, who died recently. His body was exhumed yesterday. The autopsy was concluded, and according to the police PRO, they're waiting for the results of the autopsy. In addition to that, the police also said that they've confirmed the arrest of the nurse who reportedly administered injection on Mohbad prior to his demise on Tuesday, September 12th. But they're asking about the other arrests of all the other suspects. Police said they can't comment on that for now, but they can only confirm that the nurse has been arrested, has been detained, and then the autopsy results is being awaited. They didn't tell us exactly how long it's going to take, but we'll wait the results and see. Hopefully, we can get some justice.
So there's a forum called the Nigeria. Yeah, people should note that it takes a while to get autopsy results out. So I think I'm going to speed things up. We want accuracy in the result. But we've had 2 shutdowns, grid shutdowns within a week. And the Nigerian Power Consumers Forum, which is the convener is Michael Oko, said that he feels that there is a sabotage because they had been following up with TCN, and TCN came out, that's the transmission company of Nigeria, had come out to say that based on using the Internet of Things, they can confirm that there's been no issue over and quality maintenance for the past 400 days. And immediately they made that bold statement that things have been stable across the grid. We had a 2 back-to-back shutdown, which was based on the fire incident that was man-made in the Kebbi transmission substation. And that's caused the 2 breakdowns. So the Nigerian Power Consumer Forum is appealing that this rules out lack of capacity. TCN is doing their own part. The government is doing their part to upgrade and consciously expand transition system. But some people that do not mean well for Nigeria, some people that don't want Nigeria to enjoy consistent power supply are the one that are causing the sabotage. Who are these people?
Hopefully,
profiting from it now.
Be able to help us out now.
The people profiting from it.
Let's move on to Daily Sun very quickly. Abdusalami Atiku Obi, Uzodinma diplomats raise hope on new Nigeria. Again, gunmen ambush police patrol, kill ASP inspector in Enugu. Onga 78, we need you back. Tinubu tells citizens in the US. Jubilation in Enugu as tribunal upholds Mba's victory. Sack of governor, military others deployed to enforce curfew in Kano. Youth empowerment, UBA chair Elumelu commended by distinguished leaders. Okay, which story?
Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, had organized a presidential town hall meeting on the sidelines of the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Our president was there. He was speaking to Nigerians in diaspora. And the message is basically, we need you here, and you should come back. He says that Nigerians living in the United States need to overcome setbacks by adopting a new mindset that will enable them to succeed in all endeavors. He says that he understands, he can relate with them and their struggles, especially with coming back to Nigeria. He says that he should forget the mistakes of the past, especially with leadership, and that he's always said that the problem with Nigeria is that he's always said that we have no reason being poor, that really it has always been a problem of leadership, but that they should put that aside and realize that this is a new Nigeria open to opportunities, business opportunities, and they should come back, and take advantage of these opportunities. He talks about how proud of them he is, because most of them are people of good behavior. They're bringing making Nigeria proud, and he's proud of them. He understands their struggle. And there was also this lady who was there. She is Olufumilola Obe. She's an inspector working with the New York Police Department, and she says that her job, which is coordinator of African Law Enforcement Organization, which is an association within NYPD, is her own way of also sort of bringing pride to Africa. She's doing everything to make sure that Africa is represented well in her department. So he's just encouraging them, come back home. We are ready this time. This is a new Nigeria. Business opportunities. Do not be afraid of what has gone past. But I just want to say that Nigerians in diaspora have heard this conversation every time there's a new administration.
Yeah.
So I know that there will be some PTSD. Like,
are you sure?
Are we come? But
We'll see. Yeah. Okay, so let me take Governor Mba. So according to the report, the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Enugu upheld the candidacy of the Peter Mba of the PDP yesterday as governor of the state. They affirmed his position. This was done by Justice Kudirat Murayo Akano. She has affirmed the declaration and return of Mba by INEC as the governor of Enugu State. Particularly, she said that in rejecting the LP's ruling, she said that the LP provided inadmissible evidences to prove Mba's certificate was forged. Allegations of overvoting, according to her, wrong computations of results of the LP in the 3 local governments. The panel held that the petitioners failed to prove their case and that the witnesses they called gave exactly the same reports for every single polling unit and was wondering why their testimonies were the same even for different polling units. It's also held that the witnesses presented by LP were not duly accredited by agents of the INEC, just different reasons, but at least the governor has been back, the PDP governor, Mba has been declared back, and he's still the governor of the state.
Yeah.
Good for
so gunmen killed 2 officers of the police mobile force while another sustained bullet injuries in Enugu State. According to the Daily Sun, they said the incident happened about 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday along the Udi-Ozala Road as the Operation Restore Peace Enugu team was on routine patrol. And the source disclosed that officers were affected, Danjuma Joseph, an assistant superintendent of police, and Inspector Abu Elamaje. They were rushed to the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, UNT, and it took Ozala for treatment, but they could not make it. The doctors on duty also confirmed that both of them died almost immediately. Their bodies were deposited at the hospital's mortuary for more examinations, and this is just painful. People who are in the line of duty just discharged. However, the area that it happened was cordoned off, and the police promised to carry out more investigations.
Okay. Moving on to Vanguard.
No, I have a story.
Oh, go ahead.
In the Sun, the military. We know that after the tribunal had taken out the
NNPC candidate. Oh.
the governor of Kano State, that there's been a bit of, some were celebrating a bit of unrest. To quell that, the military personnel were deployed. Coffee was placed on the state. A few flashpoints, they had personnel at the junction to ensure that things don't degenerate. However, the new Nigerian People's Party tribunal that had taken place, the acting chair of the party said that it is obvious that there is a threat against democracy. That's really considering that in Kano State, NNPP won all the elections across. They won in the presidential, they won for the Senate, they won 2 seats in Senate, all the House of Assembly as well as House of Rep. And so how that the deduction of a particular number, 165,000 votes from the governor's tally, which is what gave credence to the change in the tribunal saying that the other party, APC, won, for them was not acceptable, and they will take it to Supreme Court that the NNPP didn't contest the presidential election because they felt that based on what they had seen, it was okay, that they wasn't perfect, but they didn't contest it. But that this one that happened within Kano State, they will be contesting what is happening right now, because it's obvious that some powers are fighting democracy and taking advantage of
the story yesterday. There was a reason. There was something there.
Yeah, I did, and that's what she's talking about. The 665,000 votes were invalid.
Invalid.
Okay, another story in Vanguard. Okay, let's move on. Vanguard. Fresh strike looms as NLC's ultimatum expires today. Let's find a story of not taking. Ababa Oshodi gridlock. Sanwo-Olu police others to blame, says PSTT. I fought for democracy, determined to prove it can provide development, Tinubu tells UN. Kidnapped core members, we are making efforts to rescue remaining 5, says DG NYSC. Again, gunmen murder ASP inspector in Enugu police patrol ambush. Okay, which story are we taking?
The major headline. Okay. So we know that the ultimatum given by the Nigeria Labour Congress is expiring today. That's NLC. And according to the story, they said the leadership of the Congress will be meeting next week to decide when to begin the indefinite nationwide strike. But the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, has been meeting with some members of the NLC and some government team to see how they can avert the strike. And according to the Minister of Finance, Wale Edu, and Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, alongside with the Vice President, they said they are putting up a very fantastic package for them, so they are not worried about any form of strike that would happen. It may not happen. But NLC, on the other hand, said that they still have till next week to decide what they want to do in their meeting. And when questions were asked, are you sure the strike would happen or not? They said anything can happen. Let them meet first and decide what is going to happen at the end of the day. So we pray that they find a way to avert this, since the Vice President is giving the body language that they are listening and they are planning something.
Okay, I think that's all we can take on front page review. When we return, we want our hot topic of the day. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Just a 7 of 7. My name is OJ, and signing a sobriety into my hands tonight on this social experiment called the 7 of 7 is Owen G. What is the name, or what was the name?
You see, I want to make them better now.
Rock Heart. No, of the goats when they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of
Buga.
He didn't get it. You know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
No, let's just.
No, wait. No, don't, no. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. With your hunchback.
That was it.
You are wasting time. We don't have time. See, my brother, before we go on a commercial break, you are stubborn. And I told you since. The fact that you play this your hair does not mean. You understand? See this bad hair you are looking at. It's experience. I've suffered before you.
But I try now.
Were you there during the military era of Abacha and Babangida? You know what happened?
I be Gen Z.
So that Gen Z, I will remove 4 out of 10.
That's like
4 out of 10 they pass exam. Don't drink this thing. Well, baby, you are on here. Drink out. If I land you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7, to be honest, because ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We will not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
Neuroplasticity.
And based on
he asked a question that was subjective about high life, and he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, Made.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
God, I'm Sheon Kuti. No, wait, Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
You can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. So my final answer.
No. All I have to say is this show is really about drinking.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
The questions don't matter.
That's the whole
Justice
idea.
is out the window.
We throw caution to
we
the
have
wind
no
right
morals here.
On the 7 of 7. Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that.
Thanks for staying with us. Join us on the show now to tell us more about StarTimes. It's the National Sales Director, StarTimes Nigeria, Mr. Dele Ame. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
So you recently launched a product called Sundial, and wondering what's unique about it. What is it exactly? Is it TV? Is it a decoder? What is it?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a TV.
Okay.
Yes, but we popularly call it a big decoder.
Okay.
Yes, you know, in the market currently you have basically 2 types of TV. The usual analog TV, and of course the smart TV. But now we have come in the middle to launch a TV that is based on the latest technology, Okay. So this TV, Sundial TV, has a decoder inside.
Oh.
Yes. If you call it combo decoder, double decoder, or a twin decoder, you are right. But basically it has 2 decoders embedded in the TV, such that you can directly connect antenna to it or dish, and this will give you over 300 channels. So, of course, when you have a decoder embedded in the TV, the picture quality is different. It's far better, you know, because they are together. Not like when you use a cable to connect from a decoder to a TV. Yes, so the picture quality is of the highest level.
That's interesting.
It is, and much more bigger sizes. And then there will be smart version of it, such that you also have a decoder embedded in it, right? You have a StarTimes app, StarTimes On, also in it. That's the smart. And of course, so it is...
Options galore.
Galore.
So are they designated dealers for this Sundial TV? Can we know them?
Yes, you know, StarTimes we've been on. I was here, but not on your show anyway. But for the first time, 13 years ago, we talk about StarTimes. And since then, we have done a lot, spreading StarTimes across Nigeria, making sure that we bring to every community where Nigerians can have access, you know. So we have so many dealers out there. So virtually in every neighborhood, you could find a StarTimes dealer. And then you can, of course, we sell it, the TV. We have 55 customer experience centers across Nigeria. So we also sell directly in those locations, sell through the dealers. We have partnership with some financial institutions currently. Lapo Microfinance Bank is the biggest microfinance bank in Nigeria. And they have over 500 branches spread across various communities. And so
I wanted to ask you about flexible payments, because I know that StarTimes came in with affordability. So what's the option for flexible payment?
Yes, the flexible payment is done through the financial institutions that we are partnering with. Number one among them is Lapo Microfinance Bank. We also have recently signed agreement with Polaris Bank. Yes, and some other banks. So we're providing a big platform so that we know that people and most of the customers at this time want a situation where they can pay, buy now, pay later, or pay small, or on installment, whatever name you choose to call it.
But I'd love to see what the screen looks like. Because in my head, I'm thinking decoder embedded. Is it bulky? Because now we all like thin TV. So I'd love to see what it looks like. But I'm sure
we actually have one within.
Oh,
and,
okay. So we get to see.
I don't know whether get to see. But
nice
let me say more about it. The TV itself is frameless.
Okay.
It is very slim. You know, just like your Android phone. It's it's designed based on the latest technology.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can be sure that.
Maybe next time we'll see pictures. All right, so let's talk about the Screen Perfect. We know it's a reality show that you're working on. What is it about exactly? What's the objective?
Yes, the objective is to promote talent, you know, young talent. We decided, you know, just to give some background. 13 years ago, when StarTimes came in, we had a very clear mind of what we want to do. First of all, to create the infrastructure required to transmit the signals to every home. And this we have done by covering the entire Nigeria. And then in the past 4 to 5 years, we've been spending a lot of resources, building a lot of content and all of that. So now we are partnering with the Nollywood, you know, to create content. So we're doing some reality TV shows. So this is one of them. You recall that I think in 2021, our Adebayo, Femi Adebayo was here. I think he was on your show here.
Yes.
Talking about Ilya Layo. And,
yes.
Yeah, so this time around we are doing a Screen Perfect. And then the Screen Perfect is just about promoting young Nollywood talents.
Okay. Yes, I'm looking at the advertorial. I can see Shafi Bello, Bolade Ninolo, and a couple of others. What exactly would they be doing there?
Yes, first of all, Shadipe is the host
Okay.
Yes. Then we have Ejike Aswegbu. You have Shafi Bello and Bolanle Ninolo. You know, they are the judges.
Oh.
So 18 contestants are involved. Yes, and they will, the winners will go home with 10 million naira. You know, and so many other prizes that viewers out there can also participate in winning.
So what time is the show on Sundays, and which channels can viewers, see them?
It's 8 p.m. every Sunday. It will run for 13 weeks. And the channels to look out for, where you can watch those, the show, is channel ST Nollywood, and then ST Novella channel. So these are very popular channels on StarTimes, where a lot of customers like to watch. And the good thing is that we have a different bouquet, and they are spread in such a way that every one on different bouquet can have access to watch.
Okay, so
on mobile app?
Yes, also on the mobile app, you also can watch. And our subscription is very affordable. Our mission as a StarTimes is to ensure that every home, every family can have access to digital TV at affordable price. So for those who have just to download the StarTimes on app, and then if you have a StarTimes decoder or the Sunday TV, you can link the app to the smart card, and then you watch freely, although it will take
your data,
a little of your data, but not much. But if you are not a StarTimes subscriber currently, you also can still download the StarTimes on app, and of course you can recharge 1,000 naira up for 1 month, and 2,200 naira will carry you for 3 months. So you can have the opportunity to watch this interesting content. So we are doing a lot, and we will continue to build on what we are doing currently.
Okay, so I wanted to ask about the gifts. I know that the winner gets 10 million. Is there any other thing that will be coming in? Yes.
Yes, we are partners like Indomie and so many other companies that are partnering with us in this. So viewers at home have the
viewers are getting something as well.
Yes, getting some things like Indomie, Pringles, and so many other gift items.
Cool, nice, well done. So looking forward to that. It's premiering when this Sunday?
Yes, this Sunday.
This Sunday.
Yes.
Fantastic.
We introduced the contestants, I think on Monday, at a hotel in GRA. And then all of the veteran actors and actresses, as you could see in that video, they were all present because this is their thing. StarTimes is offering them platform and making sure that we take Nollywood to the next level.
All right, thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you on the show. We hope wish you the best as the show starts this weekend, and I look forward to seeing what your TV looks like.
Thank you.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, Mobad. There was a candlelight dinner, procession run for him yesterday. When we come back, we'll discuss it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, multiple award-winning actor, producer, ambassador of Edo People, we have Etinosa Idemudia in the building.
Don't be first to go police station, they win the case.
Okay.
So you are showing yourself.
I go say that's my second question.
You are feeling like a contact the prancing peacock. I'm about to cut your wings. Hello. Now, in the amalgamation of 1914, who was the woman who drew the line of the amalgamation? Who cut the report? Who is the person that used scissors? What is his name?
That woman.
You have done me dirty. I've marked your face. I've marked your face. If anything happened to me today,
I don't
reach my house. Anyway, I'm gonna be chauffeured, so.
You remember now, Avi? But you never too thin. Now you remember.
Hey.
If a person who indulges habitually in watching a sexual material is called a voyeur.
That's what they're called.
You clearly say you don't go even get the next one.
Hey, a voyeur.
Voyeur.
Then go on.
What is a person who makes one
A
call?
voyeur. A voyagist. A bon voyage.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Pere. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed though. The team that you're supporting. And
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Benga Dainka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Benga right here, 7 of 7. I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the question.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for Inter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this. Because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? I think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking.
Thanks for staying with us. Still on the issue of Mohbad, with us this morning is the Senate a committee on entertainment economy led by the chairman, Senator Elisha Abbo. He paid a condolence visit to the late Ilerioluwa Oladimeji Aloba, aka Mohbad family. During his condolence visit, Senator Abbo, who chairs the Senate Committee on Culture and Tourism, stated the government's plan to establish a commission aimed at resolving disputes among artists. This commission's purpose is to prevent issues from escalating into irreparable and unhealthy rivalries. Joining us right now is the man himself, the chairman, Senate Committee on Entertainment Economy, Senator Elisha Abbo. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Mariah. Good morning.
Good morning. It was quite instructive to see that you went over to pay a condolence visit to the family. Why did you think there was a need for you to do this at this time?
Well, first of all, this is a very important issue that involves human life. Human life was lost, and the interest generated by these single incidents, both locally and internationally. If you look at the trend today, some artists, celebrities from UK, from America, all over the world have started keen into the protest in Nigeria, Justice for Mohbad. It has gone global. And as a government official, we cannot continue to pay deaf ears to the cry and irrepressible voice of Nigerian people. I feel it is a duty, I am duty bound to come and condole the family for three simple reasons. One, it is my local constituency. Being the chairman of the Senate Committee on Creative and Entertainment Economy, is an artist, is an entertainer, is a creator. And we lost a colleague.
Yeah.
By all these things, he's my colleague because we are working in the same sector. And I felt I should go and greet the family of a colleague that lost his life. Secondly, I am the vice chairman, Senate Committee on Youth and Sport. This is a young man, it's a youth. We've lost a very important young man, a boy who, if you look at the story, is actually a product of a broken home. Because if you look at the story, the father here and the mother here, so he actually come from nothing, built himself up and become what he is today. And we have so many young people out there that he has become like a role model to them, who actually are a victim of social problems in our society, but he was able to rebuild himself and give himself a name. Now we lost him. As a young person, I have to come down to Lagos to tell the Nigerian youth that you are not alone in this. I am with you, and government is hearing your cries.
All right.
Yes.
So obviously, this has become, it has gone beyond Mohbad as a person. It is still getting justice for him, but the conversation has moved into, when we get justice for him, we must prevent this from happening to someone else. We must prevent issues of bullying. We must prevent issues where someone feels like there's intimidation. There's nobody. I'm crying out on social media, but nothing is happening. And as much as I love the clamor now, I am worried about our ability to concretize it into beyond a movement, into like
law.
We can make it a law, or find the law in the system already that can ensure that we don't have this kind of situation again. What is your involvement? What are you doing to ensure that you don't have to come back to mourn another person in another state based on the fact that something went wrong? We did not follow the due process.
I think this is a very important issue. Yesterday I was in the car from the family, Mohbad's family, to my hotel room. And I entered social media, Instagram. And I was listening to one of his songs. I don't speak Yoruba. I asked someone, I asked my sister, Iyabo Ojo, say, what is he saying in this song? She said, I am crying. He said, I am shouting. He said, someday I'm going to rest. And I felt bad. This boy has been crying. This boy has been speaking out. But we were not listening. None of us were listening to him. He said, I'm tired of crying. He said, I cry tire. He spoke in Yoruba, and he said in English again. He said, I don't cry tire. And at the end of the song, he said, someday I'm going to rest. My problems will be over. And I got emotional. I said, so all this while this boy was crying, where are we? We're not listening to him when he was crying. He was knocking on our doors. Nobody was listening. And the society must begin to listen.
Yeah.
Our community must begin to work. Let me take example in northern Nigeria. Certain things in the north, we don't wait for the police to even take action. Community have to come together and begin to ask questions. Before you know what is happening, 2, 3, 4 people are sitting, Bale, the local chiefs, are beginning to intervene, begin to call for a meeting within that particular community and begin to talk about certain issues. I think our community or traditional institutions need to be strengthened.
Yes, absolutely.
Government, the establishment of these traditional institutions is not a poster thing. We need to empower our traditional leaders and begin to solve this small dispute, more especially among the younger populations who have no attachment to our traditional institutions and our history. The churches have to begin to talk. The mosques have to begin to talk. We need to come out together and come out with even our traditional dispute resolution mechanisms, so that we can act like a society. I think something needs to be done.
Thank you very much for just your support, I guess, because having government representative helps to push, when things like this happen. But you are the chairman, Senate Committee on Entertainment Economy, and you have been the chairman for how long now? For that particular committee?
Yeah, we've just been there now as a chairman. I've been there less than 2 months.
Less than 2 months. Okay,
yes.
So you're still very new, I guess, in that industry. And
yes.
I just wanted to find out that, yes, it's important to talk about communities' battles, but in Lagos, very much unlike the North, it's not so grassroots oriented.
Yes.
So people like this need to be able to find institutions or, places that they can go and report if they feel that they are being assaulted, if they feel they're being, in some way they're under attack.
Yes.
And I'm wondering what the committee is doing or will be doing, or what was handed over to you? What was the plan concerning how people in this industry, artists in this industry, can find justice or can find protection, or where they can go that is a safe place for them, to have conversations around issues like assault or intimidation and things like that?
First of all, on this singular issue, because this is actually just beyond Mobad. There are millions of Mobads out there who are living in fear. In their homes, in their business places, in their working places, there are millions of Mobads out there living in fear. No human being should live in fear. No human being should be running all over the place, looking over his back, turning his back, whether someone is pursuing him. Beyond that, let us look at particular question that you asked, what is my committee doing? The Senate, upon resumption, in less than 1 week, in about 4 days from now, the Senate will resume. And within the first 5 days of the resolution of the Senate, I am proposing a bill for the establishment of Creative Economy Commission. Okay. If you look at National Communication Commission today, NCC, where you have companies like MTN, Airtel, Etisalat, and all over, they are registered under it. And a lot of other communities, companies, what do you call it? This Dotmark and the rest of them, this underground cable that has been buried to take internet to your houses and satellite in the air. These are private organizations. These are private companies. But there is an agency of government, a commission that's regulating their activities, supervising and even regulating them. Entertainment industry is a multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry. Now, there is no commission that is empowered with modern laws to actually regulate and supervise this very huge industry. In fact, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu went a step further by establishing Ministry of Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy. So he realized the importance of creative economy, and he created Ministry of Creative Economy. Look at Hollywood today in the US. Do you know how many films is being rolled in the US every year? Do you know how much generating to the US government, to the US GDP? Do you know how many songs released by artists? It's bringing money to the country. Now, in Nigeria today, we have Netflix, we have YouTube, we have Amazon, we have all over this social media and entertainment thing that's actually permeated into our own into our system, but there's no specific agency of government that is regulating this industry. So, in the next 1 to 2 weeks, the first reading will go. That is for the creation of Creative Economy Commission. Part of this commission will be in charge of resolving dispute between artists and the record label. That is record label and their signees. It is a business. Sometimes business can go sour. Sometimes it's not everything that human beings manage well.
True.
Sometimes we may find wanting in how we manage our colleagues. Sometimes we even found wanting in how we manage even our own children at home. Talk more of a business deal. Sometimes it can go very sour, it can even go bitter. When it moves from sweet to bitter, where are we going to? Can we resolve to the street? As we have seen someone, Mobad, I watched a video on the internet where someone took a cane and was flogging Mobad, shooting a film on a wheelchair. Business went sour. Where will Mobad go to? Where will the record label go to? Because record labels too need to be protected beyond sentiment.
Absolutely.
You establish a record label company as a business for you, and you hired an artist to be part of the record label. So the artists have to live according to the agreement. So this is exactly what we want to do so that we can have an agency of government where artists can run to or record label can run to.
Let me let Bisi jump in here.
So I like the idea of having that creative commission for conflict resolution. I think is a step in the right direction. But I know that some of these things take time to finally formalize and then established. And I'm wondering, in the interim, is it possible that, because we know right now that anybody who has a dispute, the first thing is to go to the police. Social media for people that want to go there, but normally you would go to the police, which Mobad had done initially, you know, when he alleged that he was being bullied. So wondering, instead of, while we are working on getting that creative commission set up, can they have a team in the police to handle this sort of issues? So when it comes to the police, there's, like you have the human rights department in the police. Yes, it comes to a table in the police that will in the interim, they are still police officers, but they are equipped with this sort of conflict resolution to handle the matter. Why we now start doing the fine details of first reading, second reading, third reading, because we don't know how long this is going to take, and more people.
There are many
disputes on ground already that people are now saying that it's better that we start resolving right now.
Yeah.
In the first place, thank you, my sister. In the first place, like I said, the issue of mobile is just one issue. There are so many issues out there. The police should be empowered to investigate issues, and no matter who you are, to invite you to come and write statement. Nobody's above the law. To write statement before the police, and the police must investigate it conclusively.
Yeah.
And there's how many tables will we open? How many desks do we open? You open desk for this particular sector, you open desk for this, gender violence, child this one for business. How many desks will you open in the police stations? That means there will be too many desks there. But what I believe is that I am yet to discuss to get documents from the police, because definitely Senate will investigate this.
Absolutely.
Definitely. We are not leaving it to the police alone.
Okay.
We will ask the police, when the matter was reported them from the beginning, what did they do?
Yeah.
Was there a complaint? Who received the complaint, and what happened that time? Because I believe, if, like I said, I'm yet to see it, I am a #1 pro-police legislator in Nigeria. Virtually, because I know the importance of having a working police, a motivated police. We have not been having that, and that's why internal security has collapsed.
Right.
When we go back, we will ask what actually happened. I will come with a motion, and I will discuss with Senator Abiru, who is actually one senator from Lagos. Yes. And we will come together and discuss so that this motion will come, and we will also launch an investigation into this matter, because it's a Nigerian project now.
All right, let me ask you about your visit to the family. What did you see? What did you make of the entire situation? Who did you speak to? And what was said to the family at the time?
It is difficult to look into the eyes of a grieving mother. It is something that I don't want to be in the position of doing it. A mother lost her son. You are sitting next to her and then looking into her ears, into her eyes. Your ears is hearing her groan as if she is giving birth to another baby, the pain that is in her. It is a very difficult thing. And I had to bear the pain there. If you look at a point, I was actually crying, because the woman was in pains. You see, apart from just losing a son who is a star, a breadwinner of the family, the light in that home has been put off. The pain is there, and it wasn't so good. But we gave her assurance, because she said that she's been threatened, she's under threat, and I assured her that nobody will threaten you, nobody will come here. Nobody will come and threaten you. As a matter of fact, all those that are accusing, they're even on their own. So they don't even have time now to, Hausa people say, meaning when they are pursuing you, you don't ask, where's my shoe? You throw the shoe, because you are now trying to save your life, you're not trying to save your destiny.
I like you, Senator, before I go to the other ladies, to touch on this issue of cultism and entertainment industry. What do you make of it? Because many believe that they are very almost interrelated, in the sense that many cultists are financiers of many of this industry in many ways. Many of them have supported many of these artists. Even the cultists are involved in drug dealing. There's so many allegations here that we don't even know which is which. The investigations are ongoing. But from your own outward look inwards, what do you make of the issue of cultism and how prevalent it's almost been in this industry in recent times?
Yes, I have heard a lot of stories, because when Iyabo Ojo gave out a telephone number on the internet, saying, if you have anything you heard anything, you saw anything, send it to this number. And the phone was just right before me, and it was like a live stream. Messages were going in, 1,840 to 2,000 plus, to 3,000 plus. So something is happening. So if there's a helpline where certain things can go, and without necessarily the sender being exposed to danger, means that a lot of revelations will be made. And my eyes opened yesterday. When she handed the phone to me, she said, see this. And I was going through some of those things. I say a lot is happening right before us that we don't know it is happening. Cultism, a situation where a gang rival with another gang rival, all bearing arms. First of all, it is illegal to carry arms. And government need to be hard, very hard on these issues. Drug peddling have destroyed so many lives. You will never understand the dangers of drug abuse until your relative or your friend become hooked on drug, becomes a junkie. A brilliant young man, a promising soul, is now reliant on drugs to survive. No longer eats food, just want alcohol, weed, and maybe sniff cocaine. And he's become something like this, a shadow of his former self. And you are seeing your loved one being wasted by somebody who imported drug into the country. It is painful. And NDLA have to stand up, and I believe Bubu Marwa is doing much about that. So,
You know, when people are talking, people have jumped on this, it's trending. So if you don't talk about it, they would even harass you if you, on social media right now. But we don't want just talks, you know. We don't want to just seem like, oh, we're part of it. But when the chips are down, everybody goes back to into hiding and protecting their own interest. What would you already said we'll be expecting that in the next 2 weeks you push the bill.
Yes.
And that's on that perspective. Yes. You also said that there will be follow-up, so that I want us to be sure of what the viewers can hold you accountable for, that the Senate would investigate the police to get information about how that process went, to be sure that we are getting justice for him. The bill will prevent future occurrence. What about the family and compensations? Because he's left a wife, he's left a son, he's left parents, a younger sister. Like you mentioned, he was the breadwinner. There are GoFundMe going on. People are doing donations in different areas before we turn it into a business. How do we address that part? So you've addressed his justice, you've addressed prevention. Can we address compensation?
Yes. First of all, a case of murder has not been established yet. Let us not jump the gun. You compensate someone when there is an established commission or omission. In this case, investigation is still ongoing. However, on compassionate ground, when I went there yesterday, you didn't see in any news anywhere that I made a donation, but I did. I gave my own donation to the family, but it's not for news. It's not meant for entertainment. It's not a political thing. It is something like in the Bible. The Bible says, when you are given an offering, your left hand shall not know what your right hand is giving. So that is biblical law. So when I went there yesterday, I gave my own donation. And somebody will now say, why are you saying it now? I'm saying it so that you can give your own. So I believe the third reading of the NSAS fund will soon come before the National Assembly. The NSAS fund was established even though the name will be changed slightly now to cover other victims. Federal government is actually creating a victim, some sort of a victim support fund, where a non-victim of violence or any other thing could be able to access government funding to take care of their family. But before this comes into fore, you people are sitting on this table. The biggest form of giving is when millions of people come together to give their small penny. Assuming 1 million Nigerians say they are giving 1,000 naira each. Calculate 1,000 times 1 million people. That is a huge money. So you have changed the history of that family. Just imagine 1 million Nigerians. Each one of us give even 500 naira. 500 naira, 1 million people. You have raised a lot of money. But this have to be coordinated, and a committee have been put in place so that we can coordinate this giving. So I am calling on people like you, who are actually, we are seeing your faces every day, who people trust, who people can be held accountable, to come up with a clear-cut fundraising.
That was the question. Because they already had, like, I've seen 3 GoFundMe by 3 different people.
There are children in the hospitals that need GoFundMe.
Yes.
There are people who need kidney transplant, as I'm speaking to you right now.
Yes.
When it comes to GoFundMe, trust me, there's so much people out there who can debate and say, why would I put my money here or not there? So it's not an issue. But it's important for us to use that symbolic to show that this industry changes based on what happened to mobile. But when it comes to GoFundMe, anybody can raise funds for so many things. Because trust me, if you want to raise funds, they are
my question was even to get how to ensure that the money is being raised. Somebody with authority can say, I know that these people are raising funds. Can we be sure that it's getting to the people who actually, they are raising the funds?
Yes. So as we know, the reason we're hearing about, mobile really is because Nigerian youth decided to take this up.
Yes.
And protest it and insist that government be involved in some way. There's some things that are out there, that I have picked on, and this is the fact that there's an autopsy that's been done. His body was exhumed, and people are asking for assurances that this will be done well and will be done right, that there will be no cutting corners or someone influencing anyone. You made some assurances earlier on. I don't know if this is something you can also assure Nigerians or the youth, that this will be done without any biases, and we'll hear exactly what the coroner finds out.
I want to assure you. You see, who will the police hide? We know those people that have already been accused on the social media. Sam Larry, Naira Marley, and the rest of them. That's what we see on the social media. It's all over, so I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just reading what is trending on the social media. And who among them will the federal government cover? None of them. You see, we must begin to trust institutions. I spoke with my big elder brother and father, Femi Folono, SAM. He wrote a letter to the District of Lagos to conduct an inquest. And as of yesterday, I spoke with Femi Folono. As I'm talking to you now, he's airborne, he's coming to Lagos. And he's coming on this issue. And we are meeting this afternoon with Femi Folono on this matter. So we are all putting our hands together to ensure that this is done within record time. But I want to also assure the youth, apart from the fact that the right thing will be done, I want to assure them that it will be done diligently.
Right.
When you rush police and they don't do diligent investigation, when you go to court, the court will throw it out. Because it was not diligently investigated. So when there's no diligent investigation, there won't be diligent prosecution. So let us give them time to do a diligent work.
Okay. Right. So I would like to hear your advice for the youths right now. I hear yesterday they had a peaceful protest. Protests have been going on peacefully. What would you tell them in terms of how they should conduct themselves this period, how they should wait on the reports that are going to be coming, and what more they can begin to do to ensure that we still, find a way to see justice?
I call on the youth of this country. Like I said earlier, I am not just the chairman, Senate Committee on Entertainment or Creative Economy, but I'm also the vice chairman, Senate Committee on Youth. I am a youth also. I won election at 38 years. And the youth shall not take the laws of this country in their hands. We understand sometimes what protest can result in. Some bad elements can hijack it and will turn into something else. I'm calling on the youth, there's no need to protest. No need to protest. What you are calling government to do, they're already doing it. Go back home. Let's channel our energy toward raising funds for Mohbad's family. And I will also call, now that the man or the young man will not even be allowed to rest in peace because his dead body was exhumed. So that means there will be another burial. He'll be buried for the second time. Let us organize a befitting burial for him so that when the time comes to bury him again, we'll give him a befitting burial. And I call on Lagos State government, because of the interest shown in this matter, governor shall name a street after Mohbad. That's what I'm calling to immortalize him.
Wow. Really? Thank you very much. We have to wrap up with you, but I think you've really shared with us your thoughts on Mohbad. I mean, as you said, it's a big issue. Nigerians are really talking about it, and it's quite impressive to see how the youth have been united in this. It's also important that after all is said and done, we also find a way to get some learning curves, which you've said, hopefully the commission, the Creative Commission would help in that. And also the issue of the NDLA, we think we couldn't touch on that because lots of drugs are being used, lots of, there are issues of abuse, intimidation, bullying going on. These are things that need to be addressed, and we're hoping that the commission in future will be able to help and address some of these issues. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Morayo.
That is all we can take on this segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, multiple award-winning actor, producer, ambassador of Edo People, we have Etinosa Idemudia in the building.
Not be first to go police station, they win the case.
Is
So
she?
you are showing
No,
yourself.
I go see as my second
You are
question.
feeling like a contact the prancing peacock. I'm about to cut your wings. Hello. Now, in the amalgamation of 1914, who was the woman who drew the line of the amalgamation? Who cut the report? Who is the person that used scissors? What is his name?
That woman.
Yeah,
drink.
You have done me dirty. I've marked your face. I've marked your face. If anything happened to me today,
I don't
if I don't reach my house. Anyway, I'm gonna be chauffeured, so.
You remember now, Avi? Yeah, but you never too thin. Now you remember.
Hey.
If a person who indulges habitually in watching a sexual material is called a voyeur.
That's what they're called.
You clearly say you don't go even get the next one.
Hey, a voyeur.
Voyeur.
Then go on.
What is a person who makes one
A
call?
voyeur. A voyagiste. A bon voyage.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Gbenga Adeyinka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Benga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the question.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for enter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? I think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catwalk now. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalk.
That's good talking.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to other matters in the celebrity kingdom. So, Pastor Jimi Odukoya was recently anointed as the next general overseer. Actually, officially, I think by September 30th, they're going to do it in church. But it was announced by the church that it's going to be handing over. And there have been talks here and there saying that, is it right for an actor to become a pastor? We've seen recently how the new Shonwo Ogumosho was a pastor of the RCCG. This also is an actor. He's a practicing actor. And he's going to be not just a pastor. He's always been a pastor. But he's the general overseer. Now, that's a huge responsibility. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it was a great idea? Do you think... Aside from the fact that I was spiritually anointed, as in God was one that told them to put in. We know that part. But what are your thoughts? Tweet to us at TVC Connect, please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets.
So people don't agree. Some people, so they are you in the meeting with them when God told them, let's leave the God factor out of it. Now only God knows
was prayerfully determined.
Now only God knows what God talk. Because if we follow what God talk or what devil talk, we will miss road. There are many people that do things and say God told me to do it, but only God knows that He did not tell them. Some people do say, they say it's the devil that told me to do it. Only the devil knows that he's watching what is going on here. So for me, I want to discuss the appointment of Pastor Jimi as General Overseer from the perspective of is it right for a family member to take over a spiritual platform? Or is it right for the spiritual platform and as an entity to be allowed to continue to grow in the position that is like this is an institution? Then it brings me to, as a business person, do I necessarily want my children to take over me? If they're competent, yes. If I've built a good business, if my kids are competent, I would want them to take over. If they are not, I would want the institution to continue to run. That's what is most important, that the institution runs. And on social media, there was a lot of bashing before we now had Christians praising. But the first thing that came out was bash, bash, bash. People were bashing the fact that himself, Pastor Jimi, and his sister are now going to become the general, the pastor and associates, senior pastors of the church, that it shouldn't have been that way. There are other people that have been in the church who could have stepped into that role, especially following the example of Redeem, where we had, at least Redeem is one of the biggest local churches. It's not even one of the biggest local church that has gone from one generation to another. So it is a case of now, are we going to now have Redeem being handed over to?
And we've also had Idahosas who have also moved from the father to the son. So we've seen successful transitions from father to children. We've seen T.D. Jakes also, I mean, his daughter is a pastor, but she's also, you know, so we've seen it happen. So it's not as if it's never heard before. But let me come to you, Miriam. What are your thoughts on this?
So for me to, at first, my initial response was like, why are we doing it this way? You know, it just seemed like a family affair, and I thought, you know, and I wanted, especially with this family, you know, you just, since his mother, you just have this, you feel like you have a connection, you feel like you know them because you've been there from the very beginning. So I didn't quite understand it, but I would say I read an article which opened my eyes, and I agree with it, and it was referring to the Bible, and it says that for those, the priesthood was actually meant to be moved from generation to generation. So Aaron and his sons, we would hear in the Bible, and then also talked about Eli. So Eli was a prophet, of course, dedicated to God, but he could not hand over to his children because his children were known to be badly behaved. So it's actually a blessing for you to be able to move from your own self and hand over to your child. So it means, see, with Eli, God says, yes, he was dedicated, but his parenting was not right, and that was why his sons behaved badly. So it shows that you have done well spiritually and also raised children that can take over from you. So when I saw it in that light, I was like, okay, that is good. It's grace, it's blessing, and I don't have a problem with it.
She took the thoughts just right out of my mouth. Yes, and also I've known Pastor J. He's always been a pastor before he ventured into acting. And he used to be a rapper. Yes, that was when I met him. And I've always known him to be spirit-filled. I've always known that there's a way they have raised those kids, the girl, Tolu, the younger sister. And if you see the three of them, you can feel the presence of God just having a normal conversation with them. I have known to that extent. And I also know that God's gift is to be used. It's not a mistake that he went into acting. He's a wonderful actor who moved from Nollywood to Hollywood, you know, in an industry he just spent about 6 years, and where people are struggling to even make it in the Nollywood, his excellence stood him out, and that's the Spirit of God. So because it's acting does not mean he doesn't know his God anymore, does not mean he doesn't have the call on his life anymore. We judged so much, we became so hypocritical. They pointed his hair, he had dreadlocks. Jesus did not cut hair. Samson did not cut hair. He didn't take away the Spirit of God in them. And I think God is using this generation to sort of open our eyes to what's most important than the physical things we look out for. Okay, oh, this person has tattoo, or the music we sing in the churches, the Oyibo musicians all have tattoos and they wear earrings, and we sing it and we lift up our hands to heaven and we connect. So the most important thing is how are these people raised? Those people who knew them and allowed this to happen without questioning, knew them from childhood, and they know that these people are able to carry on the blessings of, you know, God into the lives of the many people they are going to be reaching out to. So I think Nigerians should just calm down and let us observe. God's blessings are without, how is it?
Let me take this call from Yemi. He's been holding for a minute. Good morning, Yemi. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good morning, Morayo.
Good morning.
My name is Jimi. I'm calling from London.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm so sorry what I'm going to say. I don't care how anybody says. Nigeria's Pentecostal churches are just business. That's my thing.
I think
the family business.
It's a family business.
Oh.
Yeah, can I respond to that? It's also okay if it's a family business. It's me they called. God called me. And probably by the time God called me, I heard that if I raise my children well, they can take over. Let God call you, build your own family and build your own business. So I'm not saying that the churches are not run as businesses. We all know that aspect of it. But to judge a man's calling because you think he should have gone to an outsider, no, now. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think the focus should be on, can this person lead the flock? Can the flock trust him enough to lead them? And once that is sorted,
everything else is okay.
I know both. I follow both Tolu and Jimmy, and I would say that there are people that never hid their faith. You know, there are people that never hid the fact that they have a calling. There are people that have always run a ministry. I pray with Tolu. She does. It's not even popular. She has a prayer team on Instagram that they've been praying even before praying became a social media thing, and they still do it till now, and it's a team.
Yeah, it's huge.
So I feel that at the end of the day, we are all in support of, because we know the people.
Yeah.
So we are judging based on character. But it's another part of when you are building an institution, there is a generational shift. And it is easy for us to sit down and expect that you should go to another person in the rank of Pastor Taiwo Odukoya. In actual fact, it should move down the generation.
Yeah.
Because the kind of people that Pastor Jimmy would reach out to connect with are totally different from those that are currently were connecting with Pastor Taiwo. And that is important. There's another angle when we talk about spiritual things and we try to put the naira and kobo, we will miss out on a huge opportunity to see the positive part of what they're doing. Yes, there's money. There's a lot of money in spiritual business. Spiritual business is big business. Spiritual business, there are a lot of merchandising, there are goods and services, there are money making opportunity. But if we look at the money, even in the Bible times, they were doing business in the temples, and it's a case of Jesus chased them away because it was being done wrong. There was corruption in the temple. So we cannot remove money and spirituality, but we must ensure that the values that are underneath it, powering it, is right.
Take this call from Kennedy. He's been holding for a minute. Good morning, Kennedy. Thanks for calling. You're live. Go ahead, please. I can hardly hear you.
I'm a pastor.
Yes, sir.
And I want to tell you this. If you know the level of disloyalty inside church, you will know that what these people did is the best. People that you see that are following us, you know, this kind of a thing, if you measure their level of loyalty, it's better to play safe. People that are looking from outside may think that things are going on well. But when you are inside, you will know that people that you think they are loyal, they are this and that, they are not really. So it is better to just play safe. Let your mistake be within you. If you are going to do anything, God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Come to you, Mariam.
Yes. So the second part of this conversation I want to talk about is about the way that he looks.
Yeah.
And I know this is a conversation that we're struggling with, especially, you know, like in the Bible, it almost makes it clear, like some things it says it does not expect believers to have tattoos, you know. And so he looks like he's a physical embodiment of all the things that in the Bible it says do not, you know, be. Yeah. But the only thing I disagree with now, the conversation, is the hair. And I'm like, this is the hair that grows out of from his skull. God made that hair. It's coming out from his skull. We have priests and pastors that we revere and admire who have jerry-curled hair and things like that. And we have all their followers trying to have that sort of hair. And we've never brought that hair into question, but the African man that is wearing the African hair. And I feel that conversation has a lot to do with also our acceptance of who we are. Then I also said, you know what, I believe that there are prophets for different seasons. When I was in university, there used to be this group. I can't remember exactly. I think it was like a Song of David or Sons of David or something like that. They were young, cool kids who were Christians. And finally, people who were cool and, you know, felt like, okay, we found a place that we belong. So you're cool, but these church people, they don't seem to, they are superstitious, they don't, you know, they are so backward in maybe in their thinking, but here are these people just like us, speak our language, dress like us, understand our, you know, and they are praising God. Right. So I'm looking at Pastor Jimi and I'm like, have we looked around us recently? Have we gone out recently? Have you seen our young boys? Do you see what they look like? Who do you think, if we want them in church, who do you think that they'll be attracted to? Who do you think that they'll relate with?
Let me pause you for a second, because this is a conversation I had recently with my husband, and we did a video on it and posted it yesterday. And his view was very conventional and very, and he felt that, listen, his look doesn't depict what we know as pastors. And I was trying to explain to him it's a global village, and people even minister wherever you are. So Fountain of Life, said, no, Fountain of Life is in Lukweju, it's not global, it's here. but what was interesting about the conversation was that the cameraman who was handling, he's a youth. And when Femi finished, he said, I disagree with you, sir. Because you're speaking based on your own filter, you're seeing things through that. Because in your own time, it was this way. That's how it is. By the time we have more of a Jimi, Pastor Jimi, the way he looks, there'll be more pastors like him. There'll be more people, more people will be like him and will connect with him more. Because what he's doing is bringing, there's a 70% of youth who don't even want to go to church. But if we see people like us, which is what you just said, we are more attractive. So if you think the former system of daddy wearing suit, mommy Joe wearing a hat is going to drag us to church, that time has gone. So it was quite an interesting conversation to see. But according to, he still felt that, listen, you can, how much do we want to move the bar? Because we keep accepting these things. For example, you say the girl is wearing her skimpy looking tight dress, let her be, you don't know her heart, but let her be, but you don't know she's also maybe tempting or somebody in church. So there are two ways of looking at it. We have to be very sure. How far do we drag this line?
We like to speak sometimes like we are God's mouthpiece. He created us differently for a reason. Everybody has their market. Everybody has the souls. If you're into ministry, you have the kind of souls that are already attached to you, that the way you think, the way you dress, the way you act will be the ones to pull, will be what will pull them to come to the knowledge of God. As long as you're not using that position to defraud people, as long as you know that you have the calling and you're living right. It's not about the hair, it's not about the clothes. Just be decent in what you do. And how do we define decency? Back in the days that we always like to go to, men were wearing earrings. Men started wearing high heels. High heels were not designed originally for women. They were designed for men. When the people of old had to collect their gold to give to the, when they didn't see Moses after a while in the mountain, they collected gold earrings and everything from their sons and their daughters. What do you think their sons were doing with it? So we always sit from our own lens, like you rightly said, and say, okay, because there's something I read recently which said, we made God in our own image. We made God in our own image. Because every clime and every culture has a representation of who they think God should be, or how he looks, or how he is. He's a man, he's a woman, he has a beard, he has this. We made God in our own image. But that is not how God works. We have different expressions, and those expressions are allowed, and those expressions have a message that they are passing. So for someone like a very conventional, there are some very conventional people that, I will not go to their church because they will bore me out of my skin. But for someone like a Pastor Jimi, I am a candidate. I will go to his church because he has the vibrancy. For someone like T.D. Jakes and the daughter, remember during the daughter's time when she got pregnant, she did, this happened and all of that, she was like, this person is ruled out. She can never be. But God is using her in amazing ways compared to even those very conventional people. So let's just trust. If we have the Spirit of God and you hear somebody with the Spirit of God, you will know. Just trust the Spirit of God in you.
Take this call from Ambrose. He's been holding. Good morning, Ambrose. You're live.
Good morning, Mariah.
Good morning.
My name is Ambrose. I'm calling from Abuja. Ambrose Aguirre.
Yes.
First of all, the word of God doesn't change. Generation from generation goes. The word of God remains the same. Cannot say that because of the new generation that we have to change. No. Two, if you read 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 14, it's clearly stated that men should not carry long hair. What is church? Church is the body of Christ. We are a temple. When Christ directed Peter, so you are the rock, upon you I will found this church. It is a family business. So we should get it right that they come here, the pastor comes, goes, the children will take over. No. So church is the body of Christ. It's not a family business. And as a pastor, it will be different from unbelievers. But Ayo, can you go to the bank and you see a banker wearing long hair? You will see bank with that person. Thanks and God bless.
They're wearing beards now. Yes. I mean, so I was going to also say, as an example to the fact that I believe that they are prophets for different seasons, and I do not think that it means that God's word is changing. It just means that the world changes and you need a prophet that can, connect during that time. We know the story. We know how the disciples, Jesus called them. They were mostly illiterate, barely educated, fishermen, But then we have people like Paul, Saul. And we know that he took the gospel to Rome, the Romans. The reason why we have widespread Christianity was because of him. And he was a different type of person, disciple than the original apostles. He was educated, he was exposed, and that was the sort of person that could connect with, when he went, those who were non-Jews. And if he had insisted, because there's things about circumcision, there are some things he said that, no, I don't think this is as important as the word of God. This is not what God is exactly saying. And some of the things could be let go for the word of God, for the gospel. If he had insisted, or if they had insisted because he was not Jew, or you were not circumcised, or you were not all these, tenets that had been put, because that was really based on the culture of Judaism, the Christianity that we know as we know of it today would not have, been as widespread, or what Paul did with the Romans. So I'm just saying that God's word does not change. But whether we like it or not, we live in an evolving world, and we need people who are able to call our children back to God. Especially, I was going somewhere when you caught me earlier, especially I was talking about the way our young people are dressed, especially our boys. Many of the older generation cannot relate. They feel that our boys have become effeminate. They're spending too much time grooming themselves, wearing rings and looking a certain way. And so we have put them in boxes. But those children know that, you know what, you don't need to put me in a box. I am everything else. This is just my look. And then I have someone in church who looks like me, who understands that I can be a pastor, I can be a doctor, I can be intelligent, I can be smart, I can be kind, I can be everything and still look a certain way, and it does not affect me. And because of that generational divide, we need people like them, Jimi or Odukoya, to sort of bridge that gap for us and our kids.
All right, let's take a few comments before we wrap up. I was saying that I get that argument, but I also understand the part of I come to church. My pastor's biceps, triceps, the whole muscle, looking hot with the dreadlocks, with the tattoos, and I'm like, oh my goodness, am I going to listen to what he's saying at all? I'm just saying that is the part of, that's the reason why even churches say, dress a certain way. If you're going to be on the altar, you cut your hair, you shave this, look a certain way. So you're not distracting your audience. I'm just saying that they're very.
But we must accept the fact that that's why there are many churches. There'll be those that will serve the strict ones, and we must also not leave. Nobody should be left behind.
Fantastic.
That is extremely important for
That's what's I've been coming from my auntie, Mrs. Shola Adeshokon. She said, what RCCG has expanded to these days is largely due to likes of Pastor Tony Rappo, Pastor Itwa, Pastor Idowu Ilumide, and all that. We brought in our own type of people, their classmates and age mates, to come to accept Christ and worship, not the way our parents used to do back. So, as you said, every generation has So
the redeem of today is the redeem of 50 years.
And even when we go abroad, even the redeems, I went to redeem abroad, it was a different thing.
So that's a different topic for another day. Discuss it.
So it works based on location. You cannot go there and be looking at
culture. That's exactly what that young man was saying.
Focus on the heart.
Everything.
Because a rich
and
heart
Spirit of God,
might
the
be
fruits
wearing
of the
a
Spirit.
And if a neat-looking, decent-looking person might be hiding a vicious inner man.
True.
So let us not in any way look at the body and think that is...
You're right. I don't even want to put it that way. So let it not look like those who dress well and are conservative may have something hidden. Just know that no man will be left behind in this race.
We all love God. And we should all be allowed to serve God.
In our different ways.
In our different expressions.
Even looking naked. All right.
That's not fair.
That's all we can take on today's show. Have a